you're offline.
Oh, I'm offline?
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Oh, all right. I hope we got that. Hey, everybody, how you guys doing? And welcome to another not exciting trading day. The only exciting thing we got going on is we got shown fresh off the Vegas train. The man is back. He is fresh. He is frozen. He's been flash frozen back into the tundra. He went from what 70s there to 80s in Vegas back to 30s.
Yeah, exactly. It was nice when I left. It was nice and warm in Vegas, and I come back and it's like mid 30s, going to be freezing tonight, rainy all weekend. So fall is in full swing here in New England.
Oh, man. Yeah. Geez. Dude, I heard that it's unseasonably cold weather, kind of like crypto right now.
Yeah,
Frozen.
well, it's funny.
Frozen.
I
Frozen.
Bitcoin is literally the exact price it was before my trip, so it was nice enough to stay put while I was away. And I come back, it's in the exact same spot. Nothing fishy about that, but
I think you were supposed to go there and eat ass or something like that. Isn't that what the other guy,
good
what the
lord,
other guy did?
good lord.
And that didn't work, right? That bull season definitely didn't come out of that. So I
Nope,
could
nope.
have could have at least done it for us at least once, given it a shot. So yeah, let's start charting the stable coin, right? So it was funny. Did everybody have a chance to see? Did you see my tweet today? Did you see my tweet that I put up
Which
of
one's that?
the this? Hold on a second. Let me bring it up. Here it is.
Oh,
The rototiller.
the
I
rototiller. Yeah.
swear to God, these the rototiller blades. I swear, isn't it is a striking resemblance between the rototiller blades and the blades that we have right here. This is like one big rototiller machine. We're just pushing it along. I should have colored this green. I should have gone in here and actually colored the frame green. It would have been It would have been a green candle and another red candle. It would have been hilarious. So I should go ahead and make a rototiller, BTC rototiller, because that's exactly what this looks like. Just blades of doom. So
Mm.
we're since Chone is fresh, man, and he's Vamp is over here. He's got his sexy jazz voice going over here. We're gonna let the Chone start this show out with some of his amazing TA and his beautiful charts. He should be. Are you tan? Just lie to me
I
and
got
tell me
some
no.
sun. No, I got some sun. I got some sun.
Damn you.
I mean, I'm a
Nice,
white MFer, so it was getting some sun in Vegas was not that hard.
nice. All right, buddy. Your screens are up. Let's get the show going.
Sure. Well, listen, it's happy to be back. Thanks for everybody hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. And listen, I mean, I said I left and Bitcoin was like 6,400. I come back, it's still 6,400. In my trading experience with Bitcoin, I have never seen this many days of sideways price action ranging with like $100 range in what, like 7, 8, 9 days here. And it's we keep talking about, oh, we're on the verge of something, we're on the verge of a big move, and we are on the verge of a big move. All our indicators are saying that something big is about to happen. The tighter our Bollingers are, our ADX lines and stuff like that. But the things that are kind of really sticking out to me with all this sideways price action, and another thing I want to talk about kind of is what timeframes are giving us any clue of what's happening when just this daily is just saying sideways, 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 and all of our EMAs and everything are just sideways, sideways, sideways. So the first thing that kind of sticks out to me, again, I like to use my EMA 12, EMA 26, middle Bollinger, and EMA 55 here. And, every time we poked above our 26 and our middle BB on the daily, we get above it intraday, but we're just not able to close above. And that's notable. That basically says that every time we break a little bullish in the day, profits are taken. There's not a lot of confidence in building on any kind of bullish momentum. And the day before yesterday's candle, we had a it's so arbitrary, but we had a nice $70 pop in price. All right, looked good. It was a nice little candle there,
Big
and then of
move,
course,
big
big move,
move,
right?
big
Big move.
move.
Really grasping at straws here to find
Huge.
anything good, and we just give it all back, and then and whatnot, and we basically put in I mean, not a bearish engulfing, but just kind of a little crappy little bearish candle here on low volume. And low volume, it seems to be kind of the thing here. So once again, EMA 12, middle Bollinger acting as daily close resistance. Now our Bollingers were a heck of a lot tighter back October 10th before we had that bigger move. We're wider than then, but historically speaking, we're actually very tight on our dailies and even higher time frames as well. A couple things of note on the daily chart. The RSI is really giving me bupkis right now. We're still under 50. I mean, maybe we're putting in some sort of inverse head and shoulders here. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's just nothing going on here. We're clearly seeing this resistance line kind of playing around with how it goes. Maybe it's here. Maybe we basically broke through, found support. But as long as we keep under 50, this just isn't telling me anything. This
You
isn't
know,
showing me.
if you turn that chart sideways, it would actually make a head and shoulders.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
If
can kind of make a head and shoulders out of that somehow. I think if you turned it completely sideways.
And that's just what we're doing now with the sideways price action. There's just nothing showing us this. Normally, we're looking for, oh, well, once we're above 50 and we're basically finding our momentum, we're able to find that relative strength to keep the party going. But until we can get above 50, I think the bears have control here continuously. We're putting in lower highs. And another test of our bottom support line here could bring us down to the low 30s on some kind of a bear break. The thing that really sticks out to me right now is our stochastics. You know, we crawled up to this upper layer. We haven't hit 100 yet. You know, we still haven't hit 100. Actually, we haven't hit 100 since end of August on our bull breaks. Even our bull break, bullish break, whatever we had in September, we only got up to 97 with our leading indicator. So we haven't even got up to 100 on our daily stoke in several months here. And this sideways price action has brought our stoke in our higher area here. And I kind of see this as, you know, we've lost a lot of this running room with sideways price action. So even if we do pop a little bullish to get us back up to this upper 95, maybe we touched 100, we've almost exhausted from a time perspective. A lot of the time we normally end up hanging out in this upper area on the stoke. So what that means to me, even with some sort of a bullish break, running room is limited in terms of how far we can really go before we start looking at, oh, we're overbought, or what kind of situation there. Our MACD still nothing here. We're still sub-zero. We're putting the weakest upper histograms here. We actually put in a lower one here, so we're starting to lose a little bit of our Momo there. And, you know, tight, but not crazy oversold or overbought there. OBV broke out of this triangle here that had basically been established since July, and we've been holding our upper support here, but you know, just not finding that follow through, even though I'm seeing a little bit of a sense that we're at least holding in this area. There isn't a major bearish divergence just yet in this. But what I do find notable is our chalk and money flow is just kind of, I've had this box for quite some time, just monitoring this area of support, and we just fell right through it. So we're just getting no money coming into this market right now. And the fact that Bitcoin is holding up in this price range with very little money coming through, to me, is very suspect. I got a kind of a little, let me get rid of my Bollingers here. You know, there's kind of this channel here I've been watching. You know, here's our resistance. We touched our bottom here when we had our Tether FUD Bitcoin pump. We touched right there at our middle channel resistance line. And today's candle, let me just hide my EMAs here. There it is. We kind of broken out of that lower channel support there. Now this channel basically started from early September. We touched it to the penny, middle channel support, now turned resistance several times, and we rolled up our lower channel support as well. So breaking out of this channel support, that's interesting. That interesting almost makes me want to look at another bearish channel that's about to be committed there. And this kind of looks like a similar pattern we've seen of like kind of this M top here where we have an up, we kind of have this inverse BART, and then we kind of slowly bleed down again. And because there's always that chance for a pump, sure, but for me, I'm looking for this to break lower. I'm looking for this to break lower and retest those $6,100, $6,200 area again. to really see if that support area is really there. When we broke pretty bearish here, being able to hold, in that low six range was notable. The thing that's, screwing all of us up is this arbitrage issue with Tether and the fact that we're not using Bitfinex or Binance charts now because it doesn't necessarily reflect the true value of Bitcoin. We're having to use Coinbase, Bitstamp, the ones that actually show right now. Yes, the current price of Bitcoin is 63.96. That's what I can cash it out and convert it to actual fiat in. We still have Finex showing almost $140 higher price, just because Tether, what is it at? It's at 97 cents still. So our stable coin at 1-to-1 is not even at 1-to-1 and struggling to get back up there
BTC
after
is
this
the new
dump.
stable coin. I heard. I heard the
Oh,
whole.
yeah.
You know what? Here's what I figured out. I just had an
Mm.
epiphany. The cool thing to do, right, in the end of 2018 is to make a stable coin, right?
It's the hot thing. All the exchanges are doing now, even
Everybody's
Coinbase.
trying to copy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Ah, I get it. Genius, you sneaky Bitcoin, you.
So, in these times when we just have this freaking sideways price action and all of our indicators, all our triangles are just putting like this flat line, the only thing I can think of is to go to higher time frames and to actually see if we're seeing meaningful things on a larger scale. And I want to start with my 3-day chart. I actually put out a tweet on this 2 weeks ago, and you can find me on Twitter at Chonis. And basically, it was referring to the 2014-2015 MA 200, which is our red line here, on the 3-day chart. And you can see it held support during our 2014 bull run that took Bitcoin over $1,000 as Bitcoin started to unwind. It played around with the initial touches of the MA
Ah.
200 on the 3-day chart. It broke it fiercely. It rocket shipped back up above it briefly. It broke it again fiercely. And then it had this one more with a pretty wicked bull candle here jump up with a nasty ass wick that basically sealed the doom of Bitcoin price for the entire 2015 season until a year later, 365 days later, more or less, we were able to get back above the MA 200 and hold. Now, when I put this tweet out on the 10th, I think it was, we had the first daily close below the MA 200 on the 3-day chart. And that's notable. Now, that break caused, and helped with a little help from our tether fund there, caused this slingshot effect, which basically brought our price back above the MA 200. It was like a shock to the market. Oh my God, I can't believe the market closed below. Because look at it, we tested it here, got close to it here, totally held, had a nice bounce actually when we initially tested it here. So the initial shock is done. We came above, and for several 3-day candles, we were able to hold above. And then yesterday had a 3-day close in this guy right here. And once again, we are below the MA 200 on the 3-day chart. And I find that notable. And I think we're doing the exact same thing that we did basically in 2014, where we basically were flirting with this major support MA, until it finally was just, all right, we're unable to hold above and we're going lower. So our volume is declining on our 3-day, our price is sideways, and we're once again put another closing, oh no, sorry, not a closing candle, a daily is, but we're still in day 2 now of this 3-day candle. Or day, yeah, we just started day
Day
2 of
two.
this 3-day.
Day two. Yep. Yeah. Because
So
we
we
put
still,
in
yeah,
that
yeah, so we
doji.
still,
So yeah,
yes,
when
yesterday.
I
So we,
looked at that, I said that looks very similar to a double doji setup, but now it's a
mhm.
triple doji setup, right? Just moving as a candle combo. You got that big green candle, then you had the right there the red candle to follow it was a spinning top, followed by another spinning top, followed by a doji. I mean, all bearish, all very,
Yeah.
very bear, and that's a very bearish combination. That is
And
okay.
coming down in the price whenever we test a major area of support, whether it be a Bollinger on a higher time frame, you always get that bounce because it's like, wow, after years of not touching it, our first touch is notable. So this is notable,
Ah,
and I'm kind of even go to what I talked about. There was a comparison chart I did of Litecoin and Bitcoin and what it had to do with our middle BB. So this is Bitcoin's monthly, and we see 2 months ago in August was our first touch of our middle BB. Had a very nice bounce off it. It was an initial shocker. We went from wow, we went from 6K all the way up to $900. So we had a $900 bounce in the month when we first touched our middle BB. And then in September, we touched it at 6,100, and we had a 53. We had almost a $400 bounce. And now this month we broke it intra month. We still have another week left in the month, and we are barely holding on to our middle BB. And I just have to look from a comparison chart. And Vamp, we talked about this before in terms of, is Litecoin leading the way in this circumstance? And once again, we see a circumstance where Litecoin touched the middle BB for the first time, had a nice little bounce. The second month was able to hold the close above as well, and then ever since, the middle BB has now been strong resistance. So is Litecoin telling us the future of Bitcoin? Remember, Bitcoin has been going slower in its correction. It's the last one to have its major correction because the alts are kind of you're kind of pull the money out of the alts first and everything like that. And the Bitcoin is going to be the last one that's going to have that capitulation. So this is still playing out kind of as planned as what Litecoin has showed us, a triple touch of our middle BB. And I'll be very curious to see where we close the month. Right now it's at 63.78. So we're $20 above our middle BB on our monthly chart. And with a week to go in the month, I'm very curious to see if we are able to hold support again or close below our middle BB for the first time in years, and this is notable. So these are the things I'm watching on higher time frames because our lower time frames and our daily is just giving us kind of bupkis. Our weekly showing our Bollingers are getting extremely tight. Still, I mean, very tight compared to all of 2018 because we were just so crazy high, but still very wide compared to what's normal. Well, we had all of 2015 and 2016 here. So getting tighter here and still finding those resistances of our EMAs, 12, BB and everything way above. So we have running room to get back up a couple $100, maybe 66.50 area on the weekly to kind of retest the middle BB, my EMA 12, potentially reject once again. We're on Thursday, so we're more than halfway through this week on an incredibly tight bodied candle here. Volume is anemic. Our weekly RSI here is, still sub 50, and we've been seeing this tightening wedge of our weekly RSI basically for some time here. We just kind of following when is this thing going to break? When is this thing going to break? And we're just getting tighter and tighter. And we actually still have a little bit of running room. We could almost argue we could take this into November quite easily of our sideways price actions before we really get going. Our Stoke on our weekly looks crappy. Our MACD, this is our Stoke here. Our MACD is just barely angled bullishly with just the teeniest, tiniest upper histograms here, but still no conviction. And on the weekly, maybe we're showing a little bit of money, but just again, it's just weak, and the volume is just the biggest thing here. We're just not getting that, oh, this is our bottoming accumulation area. I just feel this is just kind of waiting for something big. The last thing I want to say is kind of the overall U.S. equity markets. There's a debate on Twitter about is the Nasdaq, is the Dow, is the S&P, are those breaking bearish? Can that be a good thing for crypto? Is that where money kind of pull out of your S&P, your QQQs, and kind of bring that into crypto? And I do not see that happening. I feel when market instability is what's happening, people look for flights of safety, and a volatile unregulated crypto market is not where that's going to go. And I'm very curious to see if we continue to break bearish and find this volatility continue in the overall broader equity markets and the world economy for sakes. I do not see that as a bullish sign for crypto in the short term. And for that to happen, if we really start to break bearish in our U.S. equities, I just think it's just a matter of time for Bitcoin to really follow suit. A lot of that bull run we had in U.S. equities of 2017, I feel was a helpful catalyst to bring us all the way up here, and are unwinding through this year while equities slowly rose. Just kind of shows that correction there. But now that we're are on the verge potentially of breaking pretty bearish in our equities, and tomorrow's price action is going to be very interesting. I don't see how we go into the weekend with any sense of bullishness in Bitcoin if it's a bloodbath tomorrow in the overall stock market. Hmm. Right.
Oh, sorry. All right. So one of the things I wanted to tell everybody is that we the market, as I see it, this is not a market capitulation. This is simply people taking profits. It's an overheated market. This is
Mm.
simply a correction, everyone. It is a correction. I do not see this as a market capitulation event with the U.S. economy. I still feel the U.S. economy is strong. I did 2 videos on it. You guys can go. You can watch both of those videos. One is in the members section only, but the newest one I did for the public, where I called the apps the absolute nut top of that of the drop. I called the nut top of the drop of the Dow, or just on the freaking dime. And listen, I expect for it to keep correcting. I'm expecting up to a 15% correction, but then I expect to see a good bounce, right? And that's just what happens every year. People are just taking profits. It's just we do it all the time in crypto. It's no different in crypto.
And this year also, because of the election in 2 weeks, I think a lot of people are also holding their breath. This
Yes,
could be a very
yes.
big sea change in Washington if we have a change of leadership in one of the houses of Congress. And I think people are kind of have no clue how to respond to that in a current political climate. And I remember 2 years ago, right before the general, where the Dow and everything was more or less just kind of sideways, slightly down,
Yeah.
waiting for the eventuality of the election. And as soon as there was a finality to that, off to the races we were. And a lot of the stocks that have just gotten hammered, I mean, they're all for various reasons. Some of them were just up a ton. I mean, just up a ton, and pulled back a lot after just great moves were made. But everything from tariffs to China, to housing, these are things that are showing us signs that everybody on CNBC is telling us how strong this economy is and how everything is just gangbusters. And it's honestly, it's a tale of two worlds there. If you have money, if you've been able to take part in this, stock market boom over the past several years here, you think everything's pretty good, but everything is still more expensive. Inflation on certain things like energy and housing is up, and wages have barely moved. And at some point, people's debt issues are kind of catch up with them. And
Yeah.
personally, I don't feel that this economy is as strong as everybody says it is. And it would take a couple big events to kind of really rattle out the truth about this market here. And yeah, I agree. If we get a big correction, 10 to 15% more, bringing the Dow down to the 23,000 range, to try and reset that, again, we're watching to see how that affects crypto until there's more, certainty in the overall market. I'd be very hesitant to see big money flowing into crypto, but it's taking this time now to help with regulations, to set up a better framework in the overall market for the next inflow of big money that I'm sure will come into this space eventually when the values are there, when people feel that there's a value at certain price levels. And for me, for Bitcoin, I've always felt this, that we have a lot lower to go before we reach those targets.
Yeah. So, and everybody, I have my Dow chart up right now, and you guys can see this. So there's my target. I'm expecting this 23.5 is kind of my target area. You can see where we come down, all the wicks, all the support that's down here. I expect this to fall all the way down. This is just merely a correction. And then at that point, we'll see how we bounce out of it. It's a lot of the news is going to have to, just like Chones says, it's all written right here. We'll see how the elections go. Let's see what happens in China. There's a lot. And I have a very, very detailed video. I went over all of this yesterday. So let me, are you done, Chone? You good? You good?
Yeah, I mean, again, the whole thing is I'm suspect of this price action. Vamp, you and me talk about how the exchanges are trying to defend 6K and had done so ever since February, and it just feels like this is so not this is so artificial, this price action here, and
And,
that's why.
and I would just like to say one thing. Aptly named the kryptonite zone. Aptly
Indeed,
named. I've named this
indeed.
what it's been 4 or 5 months. I've named this the 6450 is the
Hmm.
kryptonite zone. So
And we're getting daily volume standpoint into those low 3 billion on Bitcoin. And the last time we had a big pump, we actually the day before we were in the 2 billion. So the lower the volume, daily volume of Bitcoin gets, the more imminent a bigger move is kind of happen, because one side or another is kind of determined, okay, that side is basically stopped selling, this side has stopped selling. Look at our 24-hour volume in crypto. 9 billion, are you kidding me? Like, this is insanely, this is nothing, this is so low. And Bitcoin's dominance has dropped a couple percentage
you
points over the past couple days.
3 billion, 3 billion.
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, but the overall crypto 24 hours up here is about 9
Got
billion.
it. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I see it. Yep. All right.
And that's really low. Like, normally we're at 12 to 14 on a daily basis. There's just no money coming into this market right now,
Oh.
and
And
it's
there was
all on the
and,
sidelines.
and a lot of people are going to Forex.
People, if you're a trader, you go to where the action is, where the volume is, where the money is. It's not crypto. And if you're looking at alts right now, I mean, yes, alt setups are individual to their charts. We've seen this before. Bitcoin goes sideways with a chance of bullishness, and you've seen alts pop on for various reasons. But I've always been under the assumption, if Bitcoin can cut itself in half again by Bitcoin 3,000, 4,000, it's going to devastate all valuations. So that being out there is kind of why I'm not seeing this as our accumulation moment once again, but almost the calm before a bigger storm. And the volume is just poopy, and that's why I'm not very like, where is this money coming from that's going to be like, oh, Bitcoin's a value right now at 6,400, I'm going to start loading. And every bullish pop we hit, it's going to be, profits off the table. I mean, how do you close a candle at the top of its range? How do we get a huge bull candle and have it close the very top, because people are convinced that the next day will be even higher? It's been so long since we've had that continuation, of day by day green, green, green. Basically, since it's been over a month. It's been that last little part of September there, we had a nice run from 62 all the way up to 67. We had 4 days in a row of nice green candles. It's been over a month since we've put together back-to-back really nice looking green candles.
Okay, so we got two questions for you. CME futures close tomorrow, and that's from Jarrett. And Archie says, are there any gaps?
So we've seen volatility when the CMEs close and such. So we'll look for something tomorrow. And again, it's Friday. I don't know. We tend to see volatility kind of heading into the weekend, setting the stage for the weekend. The gaps thing for me, and I'm still trying to figure this out in terms of which time frame gaps are the most meaningful. Um, all my 4 hour gaps in the chart are completely filled. I don't see any
I,
four
I, I
hour.
thought you had one at 6,100. Didn't you have one at
That's
61?
I had so that I had to go into a much lower time frame. So
Uh,
I didn't really want to break from the hourly because it gets choppy the lower you get. But yes, on the 30 minute on oh that's why I'm on the 30 minute yes, right there it is, right there. And this is the only, yeah, right there. There's a gap right there at 6140.
mm,
And on the half hour chart, I think that's the only one of note. I mean, there's a little bit here in, like, within $50 here, but that one is by far the farthest gap away from our current price action. Now, I'm fond of saying all gaps get filled. And right now, because this little guy here is several $100s away from our current price action, I find that notable. And listen, we had another gap right here at 67.15 that was filled by our tether FUD wick right here. And yeah, that took 2 weeks to fill it, but it did fill it. So I'm still under the assumption all gaps get filled, and I will assume this gap here at 6140 will get filled eventually. Um, and what that basically means is when it does get filled, it kind of allows the chart to then do what it needs to do. Knowing this is open, I would want to come back down here and fill it first before I even tackle the fact that we might be able to break bullish. And thusly, if we had a higher one, I think the inverse, that before we break bearish, there's probably a good chance we have to get back up to a certain point. But I don't see any on the upper part. I always see this on the lower part. Now, the half hour thing, again, I didn't want to go lower than an hour or even 4 hour, because the 4 hour had been very accurate. The 1 hour had been accurate as well. And this is just very choppy here, because look at our volume. Our volume is so crappy here. So you're just seeing these just little spaces and gaps here and there. But I will keep this as note that until this one is filled, I don't feel that we can take off in any reasonable way until it's filled. And the last one took 2 weeks, and we're kind of closing in now on about 2 weeks since this gap down at 6140 had opened.
all right, good. Let's see here. Yep. All right, cool. And all right, so let's see what the Vamp has got. So the Vamp was up super late last night, guys. So here's my J hook bubble chart. I'm still looking for this J hook pattern to play out. I'm looking for this to hook around. I've been looking for it for days. I do have, here's my RSI chart. So this is what we were looking for in the members area yesterday. We were watching this RSI pattern break out of this double bottom. So we had this double bottom of it. We had the touch. I had put in a head and shoulders on the RSI, did a perfect double bottom, bounced off, hit the top of our a significant resistance again, right? And we've played out with this historical resistance now 6 separate times. We've gone over it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's actually there's one right there, right? All these times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've broken through it, peeked over it once, twice, and then just back underneath it, right? So we're underneath this historic. Now, it is easier to break over this historic resistance simply because the bar is getting lower and lower and lower, and eventually it's going to frickin' break out. It doesn't have a choice. Now, it's still working as a perfect resistance, though. So all this time, this has done a really good job holding. The only thing that broke through is that tether FUD, that tether pump, and then that quickly retraced back under the historical trend line where it is now. And then what I'd done is I'd placed we'd broken out of the bottom side of our, this is kind of this blue box is my resistance area. So trying to break back up into the blue box, it's very significant. We're under it, right? And I'm looking for this to possibly fall out. And I had this purple line as my bounce off line. It came down, bounced off the purple line perfectly, and then it came up. As you know, it doesn't leave a shadow. So with that being said, we're going to go over the ADX chart really quick. Now, here was the, where'd it go? Where did it go? Nope. Yes. So I posted this today, and I made a very detailed video of this chart last night for the members. And this is a very significant, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plop up. This is the weekly, and I did this on Bitstamp, and I'm going to move this baby over to monthly. Okay. So here's my monthly. All right. And then here's my weekly. So what I've done is I've done a layout of the ADX chart over time. Okay. The ADX chart is basically what has called the bottoms. And let me go back to the weekly here. So the ADX chart is what is called the bottoms perfectly, and we know this. You can back test this yourself. So the ADX chart has called all of the bottoms for the last, all the way back into the beginning of crypto, right? And especially on the daily. If you go down to the daily, which I have that chart right there, right? This daily chart pulls back every single bottom. See these little blue at the bottom? And then what we did is we retraced a timeline of every time we've hit a bottom going all the way back. And you can see how long those timelines were from the bear market all the way to the long, slow grind where we just kind of went sideways right here for almost a year. And then the gradual climb took another full year. And then it just started one more, almost another year. And then boom, then it got, you compressed, the timelines compressed as we just went higher and higher, and things got much more volatile. Right now, we've compressed this down into tight bars right now of tapping bottoms here. Right now, this is the daily, and the daily has called bottoms absolutely perfectly. And one of the things I wanted to show was how we double tap every time on the top side before we do fall out in the bottom. And we had a discussion. We were like, hey, the bottom is in. Now, the bottom is in. The bottom is in. And a lot, and I was like, nah, I don't. And I have a strong argument for why I don't think the bottom is in. So we're here now. Right, we haven't put in a bottom yet, so we're here. We've been 76 days without a bottom put in. We're way up here. So what I did is I said, hey, let's go up to the higher time frames. And that's what we did. We went up to the weekly, and you can see the last time the weekly called the bottom, it's been a long time. And guess where it called the bottom? Surprise face, baby bull Jesus. The last time it called the bottom was baby bull Jesus was born. Right? And we all know when baby bull Jesus was born. Baby bull Jesus' birthday is right there. Happy birthday, baby bull Jesus. Right? And this is exactly when the chart called the bottom. Now, when this blue ADX line, which is my bearish line, is on the bottom side, it is bearish, right? Now, look at where we're at. This has only been in this situation 3 times in crypto with this histo line, the pink and green line. Here's once. Here's twice, and look where we are now, right? We're at the bottom. This was looking a very similar setup before we did finally find baby bull Jesus, right? So there will be a second coming. We're just looking for baby bull Jesus here. Where is he? He's somewhere to be found. We are in search of him, right? Was he born already? The answer is no. A lot of people are saying that the bottom has been in. The ADX chart clearly shows that the bottom has not been put in. Okay, that we have not put in a second bottom. All right. Now, what I do have a concern about is not this weekly chart, because you can raise this line up and you can start to find some of the higher bottom locations, right, where you've had bottoms before. All right. So, and this gets really tough because look where the bottom is over here on this candle right here, right? This doesn't show this as a bottom on the weekly, right? And we all know, and we can all agree that that damn sure as well better have been a bottom right there. Look at how high that is. That candle was super wicked. But if you go over to the daily, right? You go over to the daily, you find that candle. There it is right there. This did call a bottom. So the daily did call a bottom on this wick perfectly. right? So that bottom was called, okay? But it didn't call it out over here. So this didn't call it, right? And that had me worried. And then this was our second, where we think the possible coming of the second baby bull Jesus is right here. This is where we think the birth of the second baby bull Jesus could possibly be. So if that were true, I would have to move my blue line, right, all the way up to right here. And that would be my new blue line. This would be my new bottom line right here. So this would then now become my bottom line, right? And I would have to go back and I'd have to look at that. Now, this would only retrace through a couple times, but look, you would not have seen any other of these dips. These really nice, like this is I would look at this as that's a good bottom, that's a good bottom, that's definitely a good bottom, that's a good bottom, and it misses, right? So you miss a lot of these bottoms here. They don't play out. I mean, this line has to keep going way up here. And at what point do you have to say, I mean, this can't be the bottom call, right? You can't say, all right, the bottom's been in the whole time. That's just not possible. The way you got to call the bottom is you have to go all the way back here and say, this was the bottom, right? This is definitely the bottom. You can't call any of this, especially in here, the bottom, right? Because we know that this was all a run up right here. Okay, so I don't like this. I like this like right here down here, and even you can slide this up a little bit, right, to there, because we definitely had one very nice bottoming event here, right? We had a very nice bottoming event here, but this was definitely
I
the
saw
call.
some nice bottoming events in Vegas. I'd
Oh,
have to say.
I bet you did, young man. So now I'm going to go over to the monthly. Now, this is where this chart gets very interesting, okay? This is where this chart gets very, very interesting. So what I did is I took a comparison of not only the bottom, right, but I also looked at the volume and the style and the formation of the volume that we had. Now here is your monthly ADX chart, right? This is your monthly ADX chart, right? And the last time that the baby bull Jesus was found, right, which is right here, here's where baby bull Jesus was found. We're close, right? This line is very close. There is baby bull Jesus right there. And we're very close to that line. But the significant event that occurred was not the level that it occurred at. It was the crossing of the bullish line, which is right here. This is the bullish ADX line. This is the bearish ADX line. And until these two cross, you do not have the capitulation event or the bullish event that's required in order to really to push this out. Now, another thing that's very, very significant is look at the histo line. Look at how this histo line gradually dies into, and here's the baby bull Jesus right here. It gradually dies into where you get this capitulation event candle on the volume, right? So a lot of things signal the bottom. You get a lot of signals here that signify that, hey, the bottom is in. Capitulation volume candle, right? And then you also get the touch of both of the bullish and bearish ADX charts at the bottom. And the way these work, they're like a rubber band. You pull them apart, they snap back together. They want to touch each other. It's just like Chon in Vegas with his dancers and the $20 bills he has. They want to touch his $20 bills, right?
300-400 too.
3 for 100, exactly. Skills on this, and he's got math. He can negotiate with them. Now, if I buy 2 dances today, right? So he gives him financial. This is not financial advice either, people. This is 3 for 100 is not financial advice. So, but I think you get more time, right? So
You get more time with privacy. It depends on the girl, right?
exactly. So what you get is you get a diving of this line. And look at how similar this is you have a diving of your histo line, right? And I am looking for a capitulation candle. I'm looking to at least get down here and touch and show me you can touch the same level that baby bull Jesus was, right? Because now, can you call this the bottom? No. Can you call that the bottom? No. Where in here can we start calling the bottom in here? I mean, you have to start to raise this. Look at how high you have to go up to even hit this candle right here. I mean, right there, that's where you got to go. Right, this is where you got to go to start to hit this candle right here to call this a bottom. Now I can't call this a bottom because this was all bullish. This whole run was a bullish run from here. Right, everything here was bullish, so I got to automatically discount all of that, right, as bullish, and that pretty much brings me right back to my level where we did come down and touch. And there it is right there. And we had the capitulation event right here with the capitulation candle, and baby bull Jesus was born. And then the rest was history. People moved out of their mom's garage. They moved out of their mom's basement. They actually got a girlfriend for the first time. And I'm talking a real one, not just a blow up one or a rental one like Chon had in Vegas. Okay. So
No comment.
that's right. So I am looking for this event, right? Now, this is where it gets really ugly, okay? Look at the volume here. This is the issue I have. If you look back at the bearish volume that we had back here in 2014, you saw the bearish volume decline, right? Then you actually got to, let's call them quasi bullish candles, right? You got this little pop right here. Now, if I look here, I mean, you've had the three candles descending. The candles are descending here, right? This is descending bearish volume. Right now, are we going to put in these back to back, and this is, we are still, we could still put in November and December as bullish months. Here is my biggest worry. Looking back here, these two green candles never broke over these bearish candles. Never broke over them, right? You have this descending bear volume. You then have this candle that never broke over these previous bearish volume candles. Then you went into the decline. You had the green candle right there. Is this it? Is that it? Is this? I mean, it's tough, right? But now you had this sideways lateral movement right here. A lot of sideways lateral movement until you finally really had your true capitulation event. 1, 2. You actually had 2 of them occur, right? Now, I'm looking for one bearish candle. Now, we can put in a month of green right here. But what's going to really scare me to my socks and going to make me very upset with crypto is if we put in a green candle that is sub volume of what we're showing right here. Can you guys even for one moment imagine a whole month of sideways movement? Maybe picking up $300. Can you imagine a whole month and maybe we pick up 250, $300, and I'm talking go up to 66, 6,700, 68 tops, right? How horrific would that be? A month of sideways action with nothing happening. God, the grind is right. So this is what, and a lower volume candle would just be absolutely abysmal, right? I would like to see, just give us one of these, I'm looking for a capitulation candle. I'm looking for something, and I know a lot of people are bullish out there. I get it. I see it, right? I want to be bullish. I really do, but the chart is giving me it's giving me pains right now to be bullish, right? It's not saying I'm bullish here, right? And I mean, I can try to, we can try to dig into the chart and maybe, it just doesn't, this just doesn't help, It just doesn't help. This was our other quasi bottom right there, right? Now there it is. I mean, Was that the bottom? Are we at the bottom right here, right? With no capitulation candle? This is very suspect. So you see the quandary I'm in here. Now, that is number one. I'm just going to do one more chart for everybody because this is all I only have one more I want to go over, and it's this chart right here. So this is the other chart we did last night. This is my historical volatility chart, right? This is the chart that goes all the way back into time here. Okay, this chart goes all the way back on the daily. And this chart shows you very specifically when the last time we've been this low. So here it is. The last time we were this low was December 31st, 2013 on our volatility chart, right? We literally are putting in a new lower low right now on that candle. We have put in a new lower low on this. This is a historic moment right here in the volatility chart. We have broken now to a new lower low, right? And if you zoom this baby out, you do get a very bearish trend line. Now, I've detailed out exactly what happens on this bearish trend line, right? And this is my come the fuck on and get it over with, right? Just get it over with. Bull or bear, I don't care, right? I don't care, bull or bear. Now, if you pierce this line, right, and bottom out and spin around, you get a nice bullish event. Pierce the line, right? Pierce the line, come around, you get a nice bullish event, right? This trend line holds very true all the way down. And I mark this trend line on all the bearish and or the bullish events here, right? And you can see, came down, pierced the line, came back up. Came down, pierced the line, came back up. Came down, pierced the line, came back up. It's held true all the way down as we bearishly plummeted on the historical volume chart all through this bear market. We have now come down to the very, 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 very bottom. How fucking insane is that? That it's turning on the damn freaking trend line. That's insane, people. How strong these trend lines are. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And we have come down and put in the very, very, very bottom right here. And this baby is about to get ready to launch. Now, I would be bullish if we would have broken this line. I would be very bullish if we would have shattered this line and then popped back up. You see the bullish events here. Okay. Once again, I went over this in much detail, much greater detail with the members, and this is what we've seen. And this is all I have for you people today. Chon did an excellent job going over his stuff, and we're going to take a look at some Chon stuff and take it away, brother.
Yeah, I just want to briefly mention, people talk a lot about, oh, we've retraced 70% and therefore that's enough, but I don't think people truly understand, how epic this bull run of Bitcoin was, and more so, how little money, how do I say this, how little money of meaningful accumulation was actually achieved, basically Bitcoin above 10K. So yeah, it went from 10K to almost 20K there. I'm on the BLX. This is basically the entire history of Bitcoin from birth, back from 2010 here. And all the history of Bitcoin, like 90% of it, is basically a Bitcoin sub $1,500. So yes, we have retraced about 70-ish%. We're holding somewhere about 67% retrace from 20K, sure, but that doesn't mean anything to me. I think we can go significantly lower. And I think the retrace percentage is kind of irrelevant. We've seen, historically speaking, we've had 86% retraces. We've had a 90% retraces, and we've had fewer ones. But what we have seen is when we've had our really big break, something that is a bull break like this, from our low of 2015 to our high of 2017, it was an 8,000% gain. It was an 8,000% gain. So the bigger the gain we've seen historically in Bitcoin, the more drawn out and the more brutal the pullback can be. That's what we get our above 80% pullbacks. So I know people are thinking that, oh, we've pulled back so much from our top here. But a lot of this top, especially from 15K to 20K, is just, there's nothing there. There's no real money flow there. It was just quick and fleeting and in the moment. And of course, if you were able to sell in this area and not rebuy all the way down, you were doing pretty good. And our VPVR clearly shows that it's not really until we get well into 2016, 2017 do we start to eventually see our money flow coming in at higher prices here. So my point to all this, because I see this a lot on Twitter saying, oh, we've retraced so much and the bottom is in and stuff. And I'm just like, no, like not even close. And the fact that we haven't tested a lot of our longer term on higher time frame EMAs that are still below our current price action here. Like the EMA, like our MA 100, which is still where is it? $5,600, and our MA 200 is just getting above $3,000 on our weekly chart. And last time we broke bearish in 2014, we basically tested the MA 100, found it with a little support, then broke it. And as I showed before, we tested the 200, found a little support, and then broke it. So until we touch these higher time frame MAs on a higher time frame chart, you can't think that we're out of the woods yet and that the bottom is in. And remember, when the bottom was in 2015, it took a full year to confirm that bottom was in fact in. So don't feel like you're gonna miss it. The bottom isn't gonna happen in a day or even a week. It's going to take a long time to basically check to see if it's a bottom, test it, retest it, reconfirm, and then and only then can we start to basically find a move higher. And listen, a lot of this can be news driven. We know there's a lot of stuff
Good news
towards the end of this year that it should be very positive news. Maybe the ETF, maybe the box.
We already had the back pump. It was huge, right? We had it the other day. It was $3, right? So I watched it. The news came out. It went up $3. I got all excited. I almost
very
longed.
Memorable.
I almost longed to
That's the thing. People are clutching to these moments that they feel will be like the game changer, and it's just not. I mean, these are things for crypto overall. Having Fidelity and TD Ameritrade and stuff, have a crypto desk. These are all very positive, longer term things that we want for crypto. But the chart and the TA, I think, speaks for itself. And I don't think you can really, quantify the fact that yes, we've been holding a higher low since February, or at least we've this 6K range since February as, oh, no one wants to sell under that. Well, my counter to that is no one wants to buy above this, and it's a lot easier to dump than to get, hundreds of millions of dollars flowing into the market to not just push the price higher, but to hold the price higher. And until we see, look at every bull break we've had, it's just giving it back so quickly. And until that trend changes, there'll be no confidence for a bull pop to continue and to find actually more momentum in that. So just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying there, don't let people that are just always permabulls convince you that this is the moment, this is your only moment to load up now because, here we are. We've proven that 6K is a rock solid thing. I don't not that like that at all. And believe me, the volatility is coming. This incredibly low volume profile, it just can't be sustained forever. And when the market feels, especially the holders of Bitcoin, that 6K is no longer a reliable floor, you could see a lot of people racing for the exits, and
Yeah.
that's where your volatility comes back in. And in those volatility moves, as a trader, that's where we find opportunity to make nice swing trades and scalp trades.
And let me be very specific with everybody. Something you really need to be careful of, everyone, is you need to be very careful in a low volume trading environment. Just a little bit of volume will pump the market. Just a little bit of volume,
Yep.
right? And these bots are doing it. That's all that's going. These bots are just playing this rototiller game, chewing people up to pieces. And the weak hands are just getting shaken in and out and in and out and in and out over 70 points, right? And that's why, I mean, I've been sitting in a short for, oh my God, over a week now. Like since I was it might be 2 weeks I've been sitting in a short. It's been forever, and I don't have, listen, until this thing breaks 6,800 and it's got some serious volume behind it, and I see multiple volume candles building. That's great. I'll be happy. Listen, I'm in a long on XRP. I'm in a damn long on XRP. I'm waiting for Coinbase to get off their damn ass and to make a freaking text, right? But and I'm in Raven. I'm in Scroll. I'm holding bags, people. I want the market to pump. But I almost sent out a tweet the other day, but I didn't because I trade on Binance. I almost sent out a tweet the other day to CZ, and I almost tagged him, and I said, "You know what, man? A lot of your posts lately have been very, very bullish." He's
Mm.
had a lot of bullish posts, and he's deleted them. He's been deleting his bullish posts, right? And if you go back and you look, he's been deleting posts. And here's the thing, right? He's my If you look at Binance's Bitcoin USDT holdings, they were holding $960 million in USDT,
Mm.
right? Right now, they're holding $560 million of USDT. They have literally liquidated almost $400 million, right? They've liquidated almost $400 million of USDT, right? And I think there was just another 100 million sent back today. Did you see that? Another 100 million got sent back to Tether today.
Oh, on the Omni.
Yep, on the Omni. Yeah. So if you pull that up,
Yeah.
another 100 million were sent back to Tether today, right? So I mean, you've got an insane amount. So my question is this: if CZ, right, has so much confidence in the market and they're holding such massive bags, and we know as for a fact that they made 110 million last year, and that has, that's a massive whopping amount of money. If they have so much confidence right now, why aren't they buying crypto?
Mm.
Why are you holding USDT? If you have so much confidence in the market, CZ, why aren't you buying crypto? Why are you holding USDT? Just, if you believe in the product, you're going to hold the stock. That's what people do at major corporations, right?
It feels like the exchanges are scared, and they're really scared of break of 6K and them unable to. Almost
That's
feels like they're
uh,
really freaking out.
I'm just saying, big corporations, when they can buy back their stock, and let me tell you what, people, you know what's happening in the stock market right now? They are buying back their stock in massive, massive chunks because of the repatriation of money. We have a
Mm.
massive repatriation with the brand new Trump tax thing. They gave it's like 14% or 15% now to repatriate money. These companies are bringing back billions and billions and billions of dollars back into the economy. This is one of the largest years we have ever seen on record of stock buybacks, right? And these companies, these major companies, are buying back their own stock, right? And that's no difference than CZ buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is their stock, right? Bitcoin is their stock. Why are you buying it? Why are you holding Bitcoin? You know, now you look over and you know what? I like to see. I just saw a thing today. BitMEX has their insurance thing. They have 14,000 BTC in their insurance. BitMEX is holding. BitMEX is holding BTC. BitMEX has 14,000 BTC they're holding, right? I like that. That shows they have confidence in the product, right? I don't like it that BitMEX and Bitfinex and all these guys are holding USDT. Well, they were holding USDT. They've now
Mm.
dumped it on our ass. They've now liquidating their USDT, right, to US dollars, right? We know they were going through Kraken, and it's just throwing it out there. Go for it. Or did you find? I'll pull it. Oh, you got the Omni. I
Yeah,
see.
I had her here. Yeah,
Yep.
I got a 50 and a 50,
Two brand new sent backs. Those are both sent
25,
back to.
25. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's sent back. So the 500 was sent to be destroyed. So the
Which
five
was
the see the 500 million that was sent back to be destroyed. But those ZWs, the ones that end in ZW from the sender, so
hmm
those were sent from an exchange to Tether. The ones that end in FZ all came back into the Tether treasury, and then that FZ the 500 million from the Tether treasury, the ones that started in the FZ address and then got sent. So right here, this right here on the 500 million went from Tether to get destroyed. This got burned, and these ones went to Tether. So this is Tether's address, ends in FZ. See all
hmm
these, if you scroll down, you're going to see they're all FZs. All those are money back to Tether. So you just had another $100 million go back to Tether. So, once more, Tether's getting, and it's not that all that's happening is people are just going from Tether. Unfortunately, here's the reality, people. People are simply pulling money off the table and they're going to trade Forex. I can't tell you how many of our members right now are pulling money out and going to trade Forex, or they're just going to short the markets. But right now, Forex, with a volatile economy the way it is right now, the economy all over the world is very, very volatile. These currencies are just moving like mad. And dude, our Forex guys are just destroying it. I mean, they're making so much money over on our Forex channel. It's retarded. It's just, they're killing it in Forex. And a lot of our members are just pulling their money out of crypto. I mean, they're just, I had 5 Bitcoin. I'm pulling off 2 of it, and I'm just going to go trade Forex. So, all right, what else you got? Let's start to wrap this thing up here.
Yeah, just real quick, longs and shorts in that area wanting to retest all-time highs. We're seeing longs just so crappy here. From a technical standpoint, they're holding support on the lower BB, but I mean, everything about this chart suggests shorts want to go higher, longs want to go lower. Longs are capitulating here. I mean, it would take a lot for longs to feel like there's value in this price level here. And yeah, shorts have gotten burned and stuff, but we're seeing this stability. Go back to the daily here. We're just not seeing big wick moves in either longs or shorts. And normally that becomes a precursor to a bigger move. We'd seen that back in September when someone took a big short out like a couple days before the market tanked, and that was a kind of a forerunner of something to come here. We're still seeing shorts hovering in the zone, just waiting to come up. Remember, if we break bullish, I keep saying break bullish, but if we go up a couple $100 in Bitcoin, I would actually expect to see the shorts rising and kind of loading into that pump, basically establishing a higher entry, expecting a bigger dump. So a little more bullishness in Bitcoin could actually bring our shorts higher, but neither one I feel is overbought or oversold. The spread is interesting. There's a heck of a lot more short contracts out currently than there are longs. But we're just not seeing any conviction either way here. Not really. If you're looking for a short squeeze or any kind of either side kind of a little too cocky in their positions, we're we're just not seeing it yet. We're just not seeing it yet. So as Bitcoin can remain slightly sideways and bullish, chance of bullishness, that's when we're seeing our altcoins have the chance, chart respectively, to kind of do their thing. I want to say something about Ripple, and that if Ripple, I mean, out of all the tokens out there, like Ripple is like the fact that you don't need the token to actually run the Ripple platform or to be using it in terms of its actual transfer platform kind of makes the token itself worthless. Now, in terms of trading it, sure, if there's a market and there's a supply and demand and a buy and an ask, or a bid and an ask, then yeah, you can have a market. But I mean, geez, if Coinbase adds Ripple as the next one, I just kind of see that as a joke, almost, as like, because I don't think it's going to be around in a couple of years as a coin, just because it's not necessary to
Hush your mouth, young man.
use it.
I am
know it's
holding a
sacrilege,
bag
right?
right now.
I know it's sacrilege,
Hush
but
your mouth. You're going to get
and
us shadow banned, both of us. He loves XRP, people. He really does love it.
the fact
In
that
fact, he went
Ripple,
home and he rubbed his body in some XRP.
look
He got a
at
tattoo that says, I love mom, but not as much as I love XRP. Okay? Just
look at
want
Ripple
to
circulating supply, 40 billion total supply, 99 billion Ripple out there. That's so much freaking coin out there. So people are like, oh, Ripple $5, Ripple $10, Ripple $50. Ripple $50 would be more than the entire U.S. economy. I mean, people have to keep valuations in check, and the fact that there's an insane amount of supply out there, 100 billion coins out there. It's just it's when I used to trade penny stocks, and there would be a dog S stock that would have 3 billion, 4 billion shares out there, and it'd be 0001 or something like that. You knew that it would take a tremendous amount of money to pump it. That's because there's so much coin out there, and it was never sustainable. Ripple is the biggest example of that, a coin that has a tremendous amount of supply out there. And the only reason why it broke bullish during the bull run is because it was pumped up by CNBC every day as, I'm a buyer of Ripple at $3, says Brian Kelly. And I mean, it was just the biggest joke there. So I'm happy that Coinbase has been adding coins, or basically planning to add coins. But if they add Ripple to their platform, I mean, that's just such a joke. I know people have a cult following behind it. I know people played it during the bull run and made a lot of money. I know it had a nice pop a couple weeks ago. That once again we didn't see that follow up, and we've been watching to see the follow up on a lot of those coins that actually had a nice pop, like Doggy Coin, like Ripple, and we're not seeing that follow through. We're just not seeing that follow through. And that leads me to think that it's just suspect. That this is suspect. And listen, with the Coinbase additions, it's a pump, it gets added, and it gets dumped. And ZRX was a classic example of that, where I watched it. It got added to Coinbase. It was like 85 cents. They pumped it to $1, like intraday. I don't even have intraday. It was $1.30. It hit up $1.30 on Coinbase before it crashed to 85. So they pump it. They say, hey everybody, it's now live on Coinbase, and everybody's like, oh my god, this is a coin under $1 on Coinbase. This is the first time I've ever seen that. I'm kind of put some money in this thing, and it ran up, and then it dropped 40% after that. So it just killed a whole bunch of people that bought it over $1 again. And it's just another example of this low volume environment where pumps are happening, and then they're quickly sold into. And Doggy Coin kind of started this. This was the first big alt. This is the first known alt. End of August, it had a tremendous pump, up 300%, and gave a lot of that back, including finding support on the MA200 on the daily chart. So the fact that this was not able to continue, like others were not able to continue as well, is showing that these pumps were fleeting, and lack of follow through is notable. And that's why I'm still very suspect on anybody that's calling bullishness across the board here in this market, because that's where you get killed.
Damn you. Damn you. I
I'm
bought a
sorry. I'm
bag.
sorry.
What
Just
he
keeping it real,
means
man. Keeping
is
it
he
real.
loves XRP. All right. So hold on a second.
This broadcast sponsored by Ripple.
That's yeah, exactly. So, all right, listen, I want to
But
show
yeah, that's pretty
everybody.
much all I got.
So last thing, we're just going to go over the U.S. dollar. Somebody just had
Sure.
mentioned on the U.S. dollar, and it was Scott. Scott says weak U.S. dollar equals strong BTC, and in fact, the U.S. dollar is picking up in strength. So the U.S. dollar is gaining strength. The U.S. dollar look completely gaining strength against the Chinese RMB. I do have an RMB target for the Chinese yuan. Listen, it is on. It is right on the 618 tap. Look at that, at a double bottom right there, on fire to come down to my. I am expecting a 15% correction, if not a 20% correction of the RMB versus the dollar. But as this happens, the dollar is just going to get stronger. Listen, people, what's happening is when people in these third world countries and all these third world countries and these other countries are much less stable than the United States. And what's happening is the United States is sucking all of its money back in. The government is doing quantitative easing. We are not printing money right now, people. We are not printing money. We are tightening money. We are tightening monetary policy here. That is not good for crypto. It makes the dollar stronger. What's happening is all these US dollars are pouring back into the country, right? We're not freely giving out money anymore with the cheap with the super cheap low interest rates. So it's actually making the dollar much stronger. That is good for the U.S. economy. This is why, listen, this is why the U.S. economy, I think, is still strong and is still stable. And this is only a correction in the market. All right, trust me, I will be the first one to let you guys know when the market is crashing. I will be the very first one to let you know. I've been preparing for it for a long time, and I've been saying 18 to 36 months, and that started probably about 6, 8 months ago, probably about 8 months ago. So I still think we got another year to 2 years still left. I think we're still sitting pretty good. Year to 2 years, 12 to 24 months still of a pretty stable economy. Because listen, people, money's just going to pour back into America over this next year. That's all it's going to happen. All right.
Yeah, especially if the world economy and the world markets have just gotten slaughtered. So
Getting
people will
slaughtered.
flow money where they feel they can get the best return. And yeah, the U.S. has been a leader in that. Um, I'm a little less optimistic than you are. I think the politics of our time having a bigger play involved, and especially if we have a divided government coming into next year, I don't know. I think all bets are off the table, and we have a president who's fighting with the Federal Reserve Chair in an unprecedented way, and this puts pressure on.
As he rightly should, because when you raise
Yeah,
interest rates, it slows down the economy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's I'd be pissed too, right? It's like, dude, how you do this shit to me? For 8 years, you've been giving money away. Now you're gonna raise the rates like crazy. And in fact, I agree with the Fed. I just think that they're doing it too slow. I think
Yeah.
they should be doing half point raises, not quarter point raises. I think they're doing it way, way, way too slow, because when an economic downturn comes, that's how you do it. Quantitative easing is where you go ahead and you just start pumping money and giving it away for free. It just didn't work last time because they printed all the money, then they gave it to the banks, and then the banks didn't give it to the people. Shit doesn't, right? That shit
Yeah,
didn't work.
yeah.
That didn't work too well. So, all right, everybody, we want to say thank you all so much for being here. It has been, man, Chone, it is always a good show with you, buddy. Always a
This is
great
great.
show.
Yeah.
So for the Chone, and go catch this young man. He's over pull up your Twitter, buddy. Pull up your Twitter.
Okay.
All right.
Guys can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I'm also on YouTube. Please follow me on my channel on YouTube, Chonis Trading. Yeah, look forward to continuing to share my thoughts and ideas on crypto and everything. And this is a market that a lot of people who are new to crypto have never really experienced. I think a lot of people got very complacent with just an up, up, up market. And this is the first bear market a lot of people in crypto are experiencing. And this is going to take some time. I mean, I'm in no, this is not going to be a rush thing, this correction, this bottoming. And don't feel as traders, as investors, that you kind of lose that moment where the market bottoms. We've seen historically you have a long time to confirm that a bottom is truly in. So until then, just be safe out there and don't force trades. And when you're in profit, make sure you take profit. Take profit every day. Learn to trade and live to trade another day. So until next time, thanks for having me, Jamp. I appreciate it, and let's do it again soon.
All right, everybody. We like to say thank you so much. The only financial advice you received this entire show was three for $100 is a much better deal. That's the only financial advice you will ever
That's all I
receive
got.
from any of us. Otherwise, this is not financial advice. This is also the absolute best show you can get information on crypto, on the economies, on world events in all of YouTube and all of crypto. I think we definitely put out by far the best show that's out there with most information. And best of all, it's completely freaking free, which is amazing. Even better. Can't beat that value. All we ask is for your likes, your love, and your open hearts. And we all wish you guys good trading. And for the Chone and the Vamp and all of us over at Until 1 Mil, we want to say we are out.
Peace.